Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here with a green tea, a little bit different packaging to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started and explain a little bit about it later. This is a loose leaf tea, but it's in a filter bag, and a single serve type filter bag. Kind of a unique design. You have to tear open the perforated lid or opening at the top. You have to extend these kind of arms or wings on the side, because they rest on the side of the cup, or in this case pitcher. My water has been brought to a boil. That's ready to go. It's been brought to a, it's below boiling. I shouldn't say it's a full boiling temperature. So that's good. And you rest your tea pouch like so. You add your water. Pour it into the filter bag, the pouch, and we need to add enough to sit. I want the tea to actually sit in the water from below. So that looks like it's going to do well. So that should be enough. I'll set my water off to the side now. I'll let that steep. Now, depending on the size of your teacup, your single serve teacup may have more or less volume of water than that, something to consider. I'm going to let that steep for just a moment and kind of introduce this tea. This is from Ineeka. This is their Himalayan green. You can get a 2-count tin like this with a sliding lid just like so. You can get this for $5, well, $4.99 currently on the Ineeka website. Okay, information about this tea, background about this tea. It is from the Darjeeling area, is the way that the product page describes it. The packaging here indicates that it is USDA organic. So those are some things that you may want to consider in your determination of whether this is a tea that you want to try. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this tea like I do most loose leaf teas, and talk about the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. To do so, I'm going to be using this other tea pouch, tea bag here. Like I talked about, you've got the wings there, the arms that rest on the side. You also want to make sure that you open the tea pouch from the proper end. I mean, you could turn it up and tear along or cut along the other end, but then your wings or your arms don't line up properly. So be sure to look for that orange or that colored lettering on the top, and below that there is the perforated line to tear along, just like so. Now let me give this a smell here. It's kind of tough to smell, so I'm going to kind of create a narrower, smaller area to kind of contain that aroma. I'm going to breathe on it. You can get some kind of green, some lightly sweet green, and this is more of a kind of a toasted green. I'm trying to think of, it comes off as more of the woody, stemmy type of green. Like I hate to compare it to another kind of tea, but there's a Japanese hojicha, the toasted stems, twigs, veins. So it's got this kind of toasty, stemmy type, not quite firewood, but something a little bit sweeter than that. So there's a bit of a woody aspect to it, sweet woody. Okay, I'm going to scoop out a little bit of this. Now these are not whole leaves; these are kind of leaf portions here. They are kind of a duller olive drab, green-gray type of color here. I'm looking. I see what looks like maybe a portion of a needle or a bud, kind of a sharp, kind of a claw type shape, which was indicated was the top of the bud, still kind of folded up. It looks like it has a little bit of a silvery type color, probably some of the fuzz or bud or hair that's present there, or was present, still is, yeah. You have some look like larger, wider leaf portions there from potentially a little bit more mature leaf. All these pieces are, say, less than ½ an inch. You may have a little bit of a stem piece or something here or there that gets larger, longer than ½ an inch, but for the most part, fairly small. Okay, setting that to the side, I'm going to be able to, let me actually get a lid here, because I'm going to be able to take this out now. I'm going to look at the wet leaf here in just a moment. I'm going to kind of dig it out. Let me make sure I've drained off most of the water here, most of the tea in the bag. That will be helpful. Just like that. Let me set this pitcher off to the side so I can kind of play with these leaves. I'm going to reach in and just scoop out some of these wet leaves here and be able to set the bag off to the side as well so that I can look at these. Now, again, you're not going to be able to see a whole lot there. Pour out a few drops there and kind of rake this. Similar kind of woody, toasty, toasty wood type of smells. Also a bit, and now it's getting more towards a beany type of note. Lima bean, extremely boiled, extremely cooked lima bean. Maybe even something closer to like a chickpea type of bean, pea type aspect there. Okay, that's the aroma of the wet leaf. You know, looking at these wet leaves. Again, still portions, they've gotten darker, not really a whole lot more to tell. Some portions appear to be a little bit more of a rust color, indicating that some oxidation may have taken place. It's really hard to say or see a whole lot with such small pieces. It's not that easy to be able to just pull out one piece and then be able to kind of unfurl it and look at it. One of those larger pieces, I was able to do that. You can kind of see some rust or reddish blotches where maybe some oxidation, some kind of bruising may have taken place. So that's that. I'm going to move now. I'm going to get into the liquor here. Holding it up, it's a duller, paler kind of gold type of color, moving towards a yellow-brown type color. Aromas, something in between that roasted twig that I mentioned and boiled corn. There's underneath that, there's something, as this is kind of cooling a little bit, something kind of almost marine-like, marine snail kind of shellfish type of smell coming off there. You give it a pour. Talk about this. Okay, same color, not a lot of noticeable difference as you pour it into a white cup like this. Give it another shot here. Taste-wise, still fairly light, not a great intensity. Somewhere still in that twiggy, that lightly boiled corn. There's something in there that tastes like wet paper to me. Not a high level In this steeping, not a high level of astringency or bitterness, mild. I would even go so far as to say bland. You know, this was steeping on. I know this is probably more water than a regular than some of your smaller single serve type teacups. But I let this steep for, you know, about probably 7, maybe 8 minutes. There should have been whatever was going to come out there. It had plenty of opportunity to do that in that time frame. This one, rather bland. Aftertaste fades very quickly. Not much sweetness, if any, in the aftertaste. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of intensity, not a lot of breadth, depth in flavor, in aroma, in texture. Texture's fairly thin. Again, it's just kind of the mild, very mild astringency there just makes it feel like I've and the aftertaste kind of makes me feel like I've just tried to chew paper. This is a tea that is probably more for quenching dire thirst than for appreciating the nuances of specialty or artisanal or loose leaf. A lot of the range of potential in Darjeeling and loose leaf teas. So having said that, score is not going to be too high. Maybe 80. So come back to Walker Tea Review to look at all the range of teas, those that to look at for just quenching thirst and going beyond that.